Let me start by asking you a simple question. Do you think that WordPress would be powering 44% of the internet that it's doing right now if it wasn't backed up and supported by tens of thousands of plugins, themes, things like page builders and so on to fill in all those gaps that we see? Let me have your comments down below. Okay, so the concept of this video is really, really simple. Let's take on the mantle of someone that is new to WordPress, not someone like us that's used to working with it with page builders and Gutenberg and full site editing and all those kinds of things. Let's take those blinkers off and put on our new glasses that are new user glasses. And let's take a little wander around. And let me just highlight some of the things that I think are an absolute UI, UX or user experience and user interface disaster when it comes to WordPress. So let's start off with a relatively obvious one. You log into the WordPress dashboard after you've installed it, and this is what you get presented with. It's not particularly nice, it's not particularly intuitive, and there's still a massive disconnect between the new bolted on features like full site editing and Gutenberg and so on, and the legacy layout of the dashboard. Now I know we are supposed to be seeing some new features coming soon, but the reality is Gutenberg or WordPress core or whatever it's called today has been in development for over 6 years, and you can't tell me that the resources that they have behind them, that somebody there couldn't have gone, maybe we should update the standard side of WordPress, maybe not even introduce new features, but just to make it look cohesive. Let me show what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's put those new user glasses on, and we're going to look at this as if we are totally new to this whole experience. So let's come into Appearance and go into the editor. And now we're in a completely different part of WordPress, which looks fundamentally different. So what do I do here? So I've got these options down the left-hand side. So I can say, well, let's take a look at templates. Okay, what do they do? Let's go to the blog home. Okay, what does that do? Do I want to allow comments on this post? I don't know. Is this a post? I thought this was the blog homepage. What are these areas? What the hell do these do? Oh, okay, now I'm in something else. You kind of get the idea what I'm talking about. This doesn't feel particularly intuitive when you're inside here. How do you get out of it? Well, you've got these options. So I don't want to open a view in a new site, and I don't want to open a command palette. What the hell is a command palette? I don't want that. Okay, I'll click back here. Okay, that takes me back to a different screen now with template parts that were listed down the left-hand side earlier on. Okay, I'll come back out. I'm in patterns. What the hell are patterns? Where the hell do I get out of this? Let's go back to our dashboard. Okay, maybe a little bit of an exaggerated kind of look at it, but imagine you are someone that isn't particularly that comfortable with technology and you're trying to build a website. I know you might say, well, Paul, you shouldn't be using it if you don't know what you're doing. But the reality is this is supposed to be democratizing the ability to create websites. That's kind of the whole mantra behind WordPress, to make it easy. And I think what they've done is make everything a lot more difficult. I'm not stuck in the past. I'm happy to move forward, but move all of it forward, not leave bits of it in the past and bits of it in the future and make those disjointed. You kind of get where I'm coming from with this. It's a very disjointed experience for new users. Now, let's keep up with the whole new user getting stuck in for creating things. Right, let's move on to creating some content. Let's say I want to add a post. Let's open up the post option. Okay, there's a list of posts and I can see the authors and the categories and so on. That looks relatively self-explanatory. Let's add a new post in. Okay, this is pretty simple and pretty basic. So what do we have? I can add a title and I can choose a block. Now I'm assuming that anybody that would use this would have some understanding of what a block even refers to, but let's take that aside. Let's click on the plus. Okay, so I can add things like groups, paragraphs, images, headings, and so on. So I understand what a paragraph and an image and so on is, but what's a group? What does a group do? Okay, I can group blocks together, select the layout. Okay, so now I've got more options down the right-hand side. I've got a post and I've got a block. Okay, let's add one of these in then. Okay, what has that done? I want it to be wider. How do I make it wider? You kind of get the idea. Everything is kind of hidden away a little bit here and sort of everything's iconized. That doesn't make a huge amount of sense to new users. So, okay, we can say that makes it wider. Why didn't it make it wider? What's going on? What do these even do, these groups? Let's click on them. Oh, I've got two of them now. I've got two of them one underneath the other. I've got orientations and layouts and justifications and things and allowed to wrap to multiple lines. You could argue the point here that it would make more sense if they didn't use their own terminology and use some form of industry standard terminology. So maybe someone coming in that reads a little bit about something, about web design and things, I can work inside WordPress, and then the terminology inside here is totally different. That can add a layer of confusion to it. But let's move on even further. Let's just say I'm going to add in, I don't know, let's say a heading, and I'll put in some text. Cool. So now I've got these options down the right-hand side. And there's not really many here to work with. I've got this default or with an asterisk for some random reason. And I've got text colors. So I can change my text color, and I can change the background color to make it really ugly. Go for white. Okay, I can change the link colors. And I got typography, and I've got these small, medium, large, and so on. So, okay, that's cool. I can make those bigger. And I can set dimensions to fill or fit or fixed. My height, cool. Don't really know what the hell's doing there. What do these do? Oh, I can set a custom size. What's a rem? I'll just use this slider. That'll do the job. There we go. I can open that up. But that's basically all you have, unless you know to click on these three little dots. Oh, look, I've got typography options. And there's a lot more options inside there. Let's enable them all. So I've got a lot more options to customize what I want with my text. Cool. Now I've got a lot more options inside there. Let's just say I'm finished with this. I publish it. I hate this bloody pre-lit checklist crap. Get rid of that. And I can view my post. Okay, I don't want to do any of that. Okay, so now I'm finished. Oh, damn, I forgot to do something. Let's go back in and edit this. Right, I want to change my text. Where's all those options gone? I've got to go back in every single time and enable these options. Now, please someone tell me why they thought that was good from a user experience point of view. You give the bare minimum available for like text size and so on, and you hide everything else away. And not only do you hide it away in such a way that when you leave the page and come back, they're all gone again. Why didn't someone just think, how about we have a switch at the top of the screen alongside these options that says basic and advanced. And basic gives you what you see when you log in. Advanced opens up the extra options. How about we also have that switch that says it's going to be saved across all of our sessions. So once that's saved, it's saved into our settings, and we know that user wants to have the advanced or the simple version. Alternatively, how about if we have these little hamburger options and we open up all these other options, at least it remembers those options, or we can go into the settings, should we be able to find them, and add those options in that they stay consistent across our entire experience. Not when you come out of this and you go back into the same post or a different post, do you have all those options gone again. So there's some text, and look, we have none of those options available to us. It's a really bad UI UX experience, having to re-enable these options every single time. So let's come up to the options in the top, saying that I know about these. What do we have in our preferences? Always open list view. Okay, that is quite useful if you've got a bigger screen, so at least it opens your list view on the left hand side. So document settings. Okay, we've got options inside there, and we've got right clicks, and we've got pre-launch checklist, which is really annoying. Appearance. Okay, we can set up various options inside there. Accessibility. Cool. Blocks. At least we can disable some here. But nowhere inside here do we have the option to be able to enable these to stay consistent across our editing experience. I think it's just a terrible way of working that is so lacking intuitivity. It's just irritating. It really is just an irritating setup. So this leads me nicely onto my next point, which is the simplification of WordPress. In that quest to make this simpler, they've actually made it more complex. So what am I talking about? Like we've just seen, they've stripped so many features out of WordPress and Gutenberg or whatever it's called today and hidden them away. And then when you actually enable them, they're all switched back off when you come back out and go back in. It makes everything more complicated. The fact that you've got so many different tabs and things. If you open up the list view, the fact that all these paragraphs are individual paragraphs. Once your site starts to get more complex, this goes way out of control. And I know it's similar to what you see with a page builder like Elementor or Bricks or any of those kinds of tools, but they just seem more logical. This just feels, and you're probably saying, now screaming at the screen, but Paul, you're not using full site editing and you're not using Gutenberg and so on. There, you would be wrong. Well, full site editing, you're right, I hate the bloody thing. But I do use core WordPress, Gutenberg blocks, whatever the hell you call it. I use this in conjunction with my layouts for most of my sites. So I work in a hybrid approach. So I live this dream most days because it is a really bad experience. But like I say, the simplification has led to more complexity, in my opinion. Like I say, you can edit your content. This is already confusing enough. But then when you want to come into things like your appearance and you go into your editor, because this is a different design, because there's different terminology that's being used that's not an industry standard recognized kind of terminology, things like Flexbox and so on, it just leads to more confusion for newer users. And not just new users, but people that are coming into this from other tools inside WordPress where they're used to that terminology. This just becomes a new learning experience that isn't a particularly nice one. Now, while we're talking about full site editing and we are in this design tab, let me just talk about things like the navigation. Previously, if you were not using a sort of FSE theme like 2024, so I'm using a classic theme or something like that, the menu system was simple. It was drag and drop, indent. It was very easy to set up. This new way of working seems more clunky. So for example, if you click on the navigation, you can see there's our two navigation items. Go to actions, we can rename, duplicate or delete, or we can edit this. And then we get this. I mean, Jesus, what the hell's this? Our page list. There's our pages. Okay, how the hell do we add another page in there? Can we right click? Nope, we can't right click. There's our navigation. Can't do anything there. Can we click up here? Oh, look, we can do something. So what do I do now? Edit this menu. Edit. Okay, now what? Oh, I can add a page over the right-hand side. So what's the point in the left-hand side in the list view? So I can add a block. I don't want to add a block. I want to add a page. Oh, I've got a page link or a page list or a custom link. How bloody convoluted is this? This is a terrible way of working in comparison to the way it used to be. This doesn't even look like the same tool. It's like this is half Gutenberg or core, whatever the hell it is. Then this random block rubbish in the middle. Then we've got navigation menu and block over on the right-hand side that don't really seem to do much. Okay, that doesn't do anything. And then you've got this. It's just a really poor experience. Whoever's responsible for designing the user experience and the user interface when it comes to full site editing, when it comes to Gutenberg, core WordPress, whatever, it feels like you got designed by committee where they don't talk to each other, that one part of the design and the way it works is disjointed from the next part, which is then disjointed from the next part, which is disjointed from the core WordPress. And I know it sounds like I'm just moaning. I just really don't understand what's going on here and why it's taken so long to create a cohesive experience that makes it pleasurable for new users alongside experienced users to be able to use it. No wonder adoption is so small when it's this much of a pain to do simple things. Anyway, let's come back out of this and come back out of this and come back out of this. Right, let's talk about patterns. Now, patterns are basically template blocks, but they're not called templates. Yeah. So let's go back out and then we've got our patterns. So these are our patterns. And I do like patterns. I do like the whole concept of what patterns brings to the table because I did a video recently that shows the patterns and the components and so on. And it's a really cool way of working. And I think there's definite mileage in how this all works. So I'm excited about that aspect. But the only thing in WordPress right now that I am excited about, but that is a real step in the right direction. Okay, so now I can add a new pattern here. That's okay if you know this exists. But let's take this from a different point of view. Let's come into one of our posts. Let's edit this one. And let's say I want to add in a pattern. Okay, so I can add a pattern from here. Right. Let's say I want to create a pattern. So now I can select this. We'll select our stack, which, okay. I'll create a pattern saying I know what to do. There's create a pattern. We'll call this test, and we'll file this away in a new folder called WPTuts. We'll set it to be synced. We'll click create. Cool. Now I've created a pattern. How do I edit it? Can I edit it inside here? Oh, I can edit the original. Okay. So now I come out into a different interface again. Come back out of here. Okay. These are all just little things that make things more difficult than they need to be. Instead of saying manage patterns, can't we just edit the pattern? Can we have an option that just says edit pattern, not this 3 dots crap that we get everywhere that says manage patterns, which then just takes you to the manage a pattern, or we can edit the original. It just doesn't have a cohesive experience. And I think that's the biggest thing that I find super frustrating about where we are with WordPress right now, and have been for quite some time. Now, I'm obviously open to have anybody change my mind about what I've said in this video today, but I'm going to go back to the beginning of this video and ask you, are you a full site editing user, WordPress core, and you're all in on it and you love it? Let me know. Change my mind if you can. I'll be open to that experience, shall we say. Or are you very much like me and you find the whole experience a real disjointed mess that just is not a nice place to work? Or are you somewhere in the middle? Let me have your comments in the comment section down below, because I would love to hear what you've got to say. Now, if you want to check out the components feature, you can take a look at this video right now. This is probably the only thing I've been excited about with WordPress core in a very long time. Anyway, my name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.